Hey everyone, I am Kim Beegler, owner of Ewethful Fiber Farm and Mill, and I am here at the wool mill in Halsey, Oregon. Let me think for a minute, where am I? And I am at the carding machine with some beautiful Shetland wool that we are getting ready to card up. If you are new, welcome. I talk a lot about wool, owning a wool mill, having fiber animals, farming, spinning, yarn, knitting, all of those great things. And if you're coming back, welcome back. I am just laying this out on the carder right now so that I can get a nice, beautiful roving that we will, at the end of the episode, usually I will spin to yarn. I've got some fun other things to talk about today. Let's see, I was in the dye studio, trying to think what else I've had going on. A little bit of sewing because I started my newest sewing project, which led me to like the heaven of sewing machines. I went today before I got here, and a little bit of hand spinning, you know, all that stuff. So I am going to turn on the carder and we're gonna get this bad girl going. So let me flip this on. We'll start it up, and I'm just starting up this batch. So we're catching it right at the beginning. And the humidity is nice today. Although the sun's out, so I may lose it pretty quickly this week. We've got kind of a drier week ahead. So I'm gonna pull you off and we'll go, whoop, look inside the machine as we go walk up to the front. So it's just getting started. Kind of see a little bit of fibers going in up there. I'm going to, we'll open it up so you can see inside as it starts to load up. And this Shetland is a little bit longer, probably maybe 4 inches or so. Not crazy, but it's a little longer. So you're gonna get some that wraps up onto the carder. Always fun to clean off. And we should be starting to come off here at the beginning. So I've got to let it, yep, pretty quick. So here it comes. So I am going to stop the machine and put you on the tripod again, and we'll get this loaded. All right, so I did not think it was gonna load up that quick, but it certainly did. So let's go ahead, and that got a little heavy there. Let's see if we can pull. So this is what I think in the last episode, I was like, if I don't catch it, then it gets too heavy and I almost can't get it through the roving deck. So we've got enough there that I can attach, and this, what I just pulled off the ground, will go back into the machine to get carded again. Whoop, I need that hook. So there's a little tiny hook on here. I don't know if you can see it, and I don't know if it can focus in enough on it. There it is. And that's what I attach the roving to get it through the roving deck. So I am just over here getting this all loaded up, and then we'll attach fiber and get moving. Get some beautiful roving going. So I'm gonna move some stuff out, move us out of the way. And I'll attach that to the hook and then start the machine up, and we'll get some roving. All right, here we go. Machine back on. Let's see how I did at loading this. There it comes. So there it is. And I'm gonna take some of this and we'll do a little spinning to see how this is. I don't like to sell fiber that I know is not gonna spin well. Of course, hopefully, I don't process fiber that's not gonna spin well, but beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So we'll take one more look over at the machine as it's going. And then we'll move along. Hey you all, I am in my dye studio. I just finished doing a yarn dyeing workshop for my patrons. We did a acid dyeing yarn workshop. Part of the fun of being a Patreon is the monthly workshops I try to do. And those are for the Cooney and Shetland level patrons. Anyway, I just finished up with that, and now I am getting ready. I've had a little bit, about a ½ pound of wool that I have been wanting to dye up, so dyed in the wool. And since I'm out here and things are on and everything, I thought, let's do it. So I just added, this is the Gold Ochre color by Dharma, and my water is just starting to warm up. I'm gonna throw my dye in, but first we are breaking up all those little dye granules. If the water were a little warmer, they would break up a little bit faster. So if I were pre-mixing stuff, I would have the water warm. Just like with anything, right? Just about anything that we bake in the house. Warm water helps it break apart a little faster. So we're just about there. And because I'm dyeing in the wool, nothing needs to be perfect. But I'll break up as many of them as I can, because if I put the wool in, this will just really saturate into different bits. So we had some excitement. Luckily, I had a bird. I came in this morning to get ready for the workshop, and of course, there was a bird. Let me not do that and walk away. Flying around inside my studio, which makes sense because I have, for a bit now, been coming in, and some of the insulation has been on the ground. And there have been a few seeds here and there. And I thought, what? I kept thinking maybe a squirrel, but no, in fact, apparently this bird. And of course I freaked it out. It freaked me out and I freaked it out. But finally, it was very well behaved during the workshop, which was lovely. So it finally just flew out literally within 5 minutes of the workshop ending. Okay. So this is some of our girls, our BFL crosses wool. And like I said, this is the Gold Ochre. And I already have the citric acid in the pot. I already have the dye in the pot. So now I'm just adding wool. You can see this has been soaking in water with a little dash of Dawn dish soap. For actually, I'll say 2 days. You want it to soak for about a ½ an hour, at least, before. This is soaked for at least a ½ an hour, so accomplished. So I kind of add some, then I mix it up, grab another handful, get all that extra cold water out. You can soak it in warm water, but because this sat for so many days, so I'm just opening it up a bit just to make sure that dye can get through. And because we're dyeing in the wool, everything doesn't need to be perfectly even. The workshop we did, I just did a pot of solid yarn and then a pot of more of like a tonal yarn where we weren't as concerned with the yarn color coming out solid. So we did both of those, so that was fun. But when you're dyeing in the wool, it's a lot less. It's just like, you don't have to be so scientific about it because it can take up differently. And then once you go to card it, comb it, whatever you're gonna do, it's gonna blend up anyway. So you have it's a lot more forgiving to dye in the wool. Okay, so this is the last of it. So now I'm just gonna let it come up to temperature. I'll probably lightly stir it. Lightly, because we don't want to agitate when it's in warm water, but I'm gonna just lightly agitate it. Oh my gosh, I just said lightly agitate. No, I'm gonna lightly move it around here and there. What's on the bottom will pick up a little bit darker because it's closer to that heat source, which is fine, not the end of the world. But okay, we're gonna leave that. I am not going to throw a cover on it because otherwise it will boil on me, because I'm gonna do what I just told them not to do, and I'm gonna walk away for a few minutes. So I'll let you all see when this is all done. But basically, I'm just gonna let it come to temperature, then take it off, cool it in the pot overnight with a lid on it, and then it'll be ready to be rinsed, dried, and head onward on its journey to become roving. as I'm walking away, I thought I'd show you what we dyed up in the workshop. This was on Zoom, not in person. So this is, I think this was the deep magenta, a Dharma acid dye color. And then over here, this is the same color that I am dyeing up, that wool that we just started, but this is the gold ochre. And you can see to the left that it's a lot more vibrant yellow, and that's because that was just a white wool. And to the right, which is taking up most of the top of the pot here, that was a natural light gray wool. So we over dyed that, and you can see really clearly the difference of how those took up. So these are just going to cool off, and then I'll basically kind of finish them as I would any other yarn. I'm just going to soak it, make sure there's no extra dye in there, and then with some water with a little wool soap in it, and then we'll just hang it to dry. All right, I wanted to check in with that wool that I dyed up the other day, and here it is. And I saturated the heck out of this. So it's making it bright, but actually it is not that off cue for color. And what else is on here? So that is some of our girls. That's a BFL East Frisian Cross. This is some of our girls. Oof. This is Drilla. I just love her wool. She's definitely more of a double coated Shetland, kind of true form Shetland there. And then what's on the bottom? Clune Forest. This is some Clune Forest leftover, not leftover, it's the second fleece. So this is gonna be into the carder after I finish up with this Shetland. Talk about different wools, and we can look at one more that I just washed up. And this will really be off the game for, if I can get the bag open. Finally. So talk about different wool. Look at that beauty. This is Border Leicester. Isn't that gorgeous? That gorgeous gray color. So this will probably become, I'll probably blend this with mohair as I tend to do for the Prineville, and we'll have some Prineville roving restocked. Okay, there we are at the mill. Quick little visit on a morning. We're heading down to do morning chores. I've got a crew here. They'll be walking down with me. And then other chickens will kind of come running from all directions. There's some over there. Hear the sheep. They're behind me up in the house. June's just giving us a little talk. Gotta go feed everybody. Chickens come from all directions. The crew is up by the house, and they think they're starving even though they have all this beautiful fresh grass up there. There's Jojo, Poppy, Patrick. Hi. This is Zinnia, Dahlia. They think they're starving. There's old mama back there with the orange ear tag. She's like, I am starving. They all have plenty. So they come and beg for food and a few pets, but really they just want some food. And then they'll go wander back out and graze. It's a rough life. It's a rough life, guys. While they're busy screaming, I'm out here filling a bucket with, speaking of Poppy's fleece. So I'm gonna cold soak it, warm-ish soak it during the day. It's very cold at night again for a couple days, but Elsie, of course, is here to help. Now they're all starting to wander back out. We'll go say hi to them over there. All right, they're over there now. You can see beyond them the nice green. I don't feel like harassing them by walking up to the fence. They've got a little walk-through that goes back to where I just was. And then they can walk through, and it's got lots of gravel, which is great for their feet. And you can see my lilac, giant lilac that has been here for a long time before us, is blooming. So I'll have to wait a few more days and then take some cuts because, oh my gosh, the smell. Beautiful. Hey everyone, we're up in, not in my craft room. We are in what is quickly becoming my sewing room right now. And I am working on my second project here and I'm very excited. And this one I am doing without a course. So I did the Sew Liberated course for those PJ bottoms, if you watched the last episode that I had just finished. And now I am doing, it's 100 days of sewing and it is their #1 dress. So I'll show you, you know what? I don't have the picture of it here, but I don't think I have the booklet upstairs. For some reason, I took it downstairs to read. Anyway, it's a very basic, maybe I'll put a picture of it up here if I can, but it's a very basic dress. And I decided that, the class was so good that I didn't have to do a lot of like reading of the pattern myself. Like you kind of just went along with them. And I thought, you know what, it's probably good if I now attempt to do a pattern myself. And then I think I'll go back to another online course with Sew Liberated. So I'm doing 100 acts of sewing and they have some really cute, but like more simple patterns. I haven't looked too much into how crazy their patterns get, but I wanted to show you. So I just finished ironing, which I do find a lot of joy in ironing. I don't know why. I've always had this weird dream of having enough time in my life that I would like iron my sheets, not the sheets themselves, but you know, like the top on the top sheet, how it just gets wrinkled up in the dryer. Man, I would love that to be crisp in my life. My husband is gonna listen to this and be like, yes, please do that. Okay, so I just ironed this. I washed it, dried it as I will. I probably won't, I don't do a lot of drying with stuff like this, but I thought let's just do it once so that we get the fabric used to it. And now I have, and I actually was gonna show you, I did something, excuse me, while I leave the, and if you're not a sewist but maybe this will inspire you, right? Watching me start, maybe you've been thinking about it and you're like, I think I can do it. If Kim can do it, anyone can do it. So for those of you that haven't sewn in a very long time or never sewed, maybe not never, but the patterns used to be like this really thin, like brown paper, sort of like this, which I'll show you in a sec. A lot of times now what you do is you buy the PDF and then you have it printed somewhere and they send you the pattern. So I could buy the pattern from somebody, send it to a local fabric store that prints patterns and then they would ship it to me. Nobody that I know of around here does that. If somebody in the Eugene area does and you know, please let me know. I think at this point the closest is Portland, which isn't too bad. So now the patterns come, like this is one that actually was printed and came to me, but they're on this really thick paper, which is nice. And I think a lot of people, and as I get more comfortable, I'm sure I will too, lay this out. You know, they cut it, they trace it. And then anyway, the point is, if you want to save your pattern, like for like maybe you want to make it for somebody else in a different size or you gain or lose weight, a lot of people now will do, if you have the patience, this is an extra step, but this is tracing paper and you can get just big rolls of it. I think it was like $30 for a lot of tracing paper. And then you can lay your pattern down, use the tracing paper, trace your pattern, cut that, and then your pattern is still intact, right? So it's not like you have all these random pieces, because if you're doing a size 16, you're gonna cut into the pattern and then any size is bigger than that gets separated and it's a whole thing if you wanna put it all back together. So anyway, this was my first time doing the tracing paper. I found calm in tracing. This is all very weird. This is all very weird. I'm embracing some different thing. So I wanted to show you before I cut, and I'm not going to take you through cutting, but I just wanted to like touch bases, show you where I'm at with my next sewing project. And of course I'll show you, I mean, hopefully this won't take me that long. I feel so much more confident. And this is very basic. When I got the pattern and opened it up, I was like, yes. So I did want to show you, and I'll pull you off so you can see that this is the cute, cute, cute fabric that I'm using. for this. I think it's gonna be just a little jumper dress that I wear around here a lot during the summer. Do you see how cute that is? And I learned something valuable. Like, this is brushed cotton, which is still cool, have you know. Also could be flannel, although a lot of flannels now are not made of cotton, right? They're like synthetic flannel. So this would be like a legit brushed cotton is what they call it, which, like, after the textile, after the fabric is actually made, they go through with like a wire brush type thing, and they like, it's kind of a little bit fuzzier. So, and it's a little bit heavier than like a standard cotton. So anyway, look at how cute that is. I thought this is, and it has big pockets on the front, and I thought this will be a really great dress during the summer to wear around the farm when I'm doing farm chores and things like that. So, okay, I'm gonna get to some cutting, and we'll move onward. All right, you all, I'm here dropping off my sewing machine to get a little maintenance, and which is a little heartbreaking, but that's not why we're here. And I just walked into a sewing machine heaven, basically, I think. And this is at Jeff's. I'll put a little link in the bio so you can see, but isn't this amazing? Just gorgeous. Vintage, not so vintage machines. So if you're a sewist, and I think most of these are for sale, it sounds like. These are not just sitting here as a collection. These are functioning machines that are now for sale. So I'll put a link to them in the bio so you can, if you're like, what? And his wife is kind enough to show me around because I looked through a window and thought, oh my gosh, isn't this amazing? This is a dangerous, dangerous place for somebody like me. Look at how beautiful they all are. All right, I just had to share this while I was here. All right, everyone, we are here at the Majacraft, and I have got some of that Shetland. Y'all, I did not get enough processing in. I don't know if that join's gonna last, but we're gonna give it a little extra there. So this is the Shetland that we had on the Carter. Yay, my join held. Okay, and you saw how I did that. Like, I thought, oof, that's a pretty bad join there. So I went ahead and just like held on to it here. Add the tension a little bit, and just to get extra twist in there to make sure my lead stayed. So here we are with that Shetland. I'm spinning it short forward. It is, I'm not gonna lie, it's a pretty heavenly Shetland. It carded up really well yesterday. It's spinning beautifully. And for those of you that are new to spinning, I know it's always nice to be able to see. We were talking in, sorry, I've got to, let me just scoot myself back, probably easier, so I can get my hands in there a little better. Yes, we were talking in my Patreon group just about long draw and spinning and how everybody has a different way of spinning, and it doesn't make it right or wrong. If you are getting yarn, you are spinning well. But the idea in short forward is that there is no twist, right, between those two fingers, between your two hands. So you can see that the twist is stopping at my front finger, and I'm just lightly stopping it and pulling forward, pulling forward. So my front hand is pulling, it's doing a little drafting, it's not letting that twist build up, and then it pulls forward. Slides back, drafts, forward. Slides back, letting that twist build up to it, and then it drafts forward and the wheel's taking it in. It's a lot of multitasking, you all. I'm not gonna lie, there's some serious multitasking that happens in spinning. So give yourself grace if you are learning. It's okay. It will come to you. The muscle memory will settle in just like with other crafts. So, okay, I'm gonna stop, and then I think I'm gonna spin a little bit of this. Oh, I forgot I'm on my woolly winder. I was like, why do I not have a bump? That's because I'm on my woolly winder. So let's turn this a little bit, and you're gonna see some screens in the background. So maybe I'll move those. All right, we're just gonna leave them. Hopefully you'll be able to see this. I think I've got it set up good. So now I'm gonna start, now I'm gonna start doing some long draw. And this is beautiful. You know, a well-prepped fiber makes the huge difference, especially if you're learning. Somebody emailed me and said they were spinning some of the Halsey fiber that I make, which is a Romney alpaca silk, and that was spinning beautifully for long draw. Terry, I think that's you if you're watching. And yeah, fiber prep makes all the difference, especially if you want a more even yarn when you're spinning long draw, because you're not manipulating every inch like you would be if you were doing short forward. So the more consistent the fiber and the more loose it is, the easier you're going to be able to spin it. And you can see there when I roll down, that's kind of what your front hand is there to do. I'm going to pull some VM out. Is if you run into a kerfluffle that you want to fix, you can go to that kerfluffle and fix it with your right hand. And that really, like, you can see when I let the wheel take up, I generally use my front hand as a little extra tension there, and just to kind of smooth out the difference there. But you know, you don't have to. Sometimes you can have a fiber like right there, I really didn't do anything. I just let my hand sit there. So I don't think I have enough uptake on this right now, but I think you get the idea. Those are tips and tricks for short forward and long draw. And I would show you the difference, but I have my woolly winder on, and that means that there is no bump comparison. Like, I'm not having to, with a woolly winder, this travels back and forth, so you don't have to do it manually, which means there's not buildup on, there's not little bumps of buildup. So I can't really show you the comparison, but it would be very different, short forward versus long draw. So, okay, there's our spinning for today. All right, everybody, I wanted to show you something really fast, a little project I've been working on that I haven't shown you, but this morning it really started to come together. And so I thought I would show it to you. So this is for a friend, and she just had her first baby. So I am making this little poncho. Isn't this adorable? So this morning I have to, like, I'm whip stitching the bottom of it because, you know, you do a longer hem on it. Here we go. And then you fold it up and you do this whip stitch, and look at it, is looking really nice. I was like, okay, we're coming together. I've kind of been a little about this project. I already picked up all the stitches along this other side. So now I just have to knit. I'll finish my whip stitching, which there's not very much left to do on this section. Then I will, I think you knit like 14 rows in this long section that I've picked up here, and then whip stitch that, and we're done. And I modified this a little bit. I'll let you know the pattern name in a minute. This is 100% organic cotton yarn. Not my favorite yarn to work with. It's a 4-ply, and it's very lightly plied, and oh my gosh. It means that your needles split through it a lot. So you can see, so this was supposed to have a hood on it, and I modified it. This is what it looks like. This is the front here. Head comes through, little poncho. I modified it to not have a hood because I thought the hood is like, how many babies keep hoods on, right? And I think this will last for quite a while. It's pretty sizable, so I think it's probably supposed to be 6 months or 6 to 12 months. Anyway, there it is. It's gorgeous, and I'm finally feeling like, okay, this is cute, and I'm happy with it. And I just ended up picking up stitches around the neck and then purling a row or two and doing a stretchy bind off to make sure that little head can get through there good. But I'm really happy with it. And the pattern is, that was my modification. People were saying that the hood was too big anyway. So Baby Doe Poncho by Woodland Friends Collection. They have a kit of it. I don't know about the yarn. I mean, it's lovely yarn, and it's going to be absolutely gorgeous once it's knit up and they can wash it and do all that stuff. But it's not that easy to knit with. That would be my thought. Okay, so it is time for the Maker Soapbox. So if you came only for the wool or cotton and knitting talk, then this is probably your chance to bow out. I want to make it clear that I will be talking politics for a minute. And I would encourage you to stay. I would encourage you to stay. This is not a you are bad type of a political, but here we are in this climate right now, and I find it exceptionally important to speak out. And I should start this by saying by answering the question of why, because I, of course, am getting comments of stay in your lane and please don't talk politics. This is our happy knitting space or our happy wool space. And yes, this is a happy space. Hence why I'm telling you, cut out if you don't want to hear any of this. But I urge you to stay, because while it is our happy place now, we would all like it to continue to be our happy place, to have the privilege of having these happy places where we make. And if our current country goes the way it's going, we're going to have some reckoning to do, and it's not going to be as pretty in this country. So stay with me, please. I also believe, and it's showing in the comments and your engagement here, that if I speak up, as we've talked about, it makes what's happening in our administration not become normalized. My little voice it makes a difference. And you all have been stepping up and commenting so beautifully. I love to hear from you, because not only does it encourage me to keep going with this and show me that while I'm definitely losing viewers and I'm definitely losing customers to my mill, it also shows me that you all are willing to stand up, speak out, and be part of a community. And in you all commenting, it helps others feel more confident to comment and speak up. So please keep it up, and I will keep it up here. Okay, I actually have to like really start writing notes now, because it's getting a little more like, and I can't talk about everything going on in our country, right? Also, I should mention, part of the reason that I do this is because I love our country. I feel incredibly privileged to have been born into this country, to live in this country, to have everything that I have. I also do that simultaneously while loving all of our allies that have been longtime allies around the world. And I recognize that what is happening in this country is affecting everybody in the world. And for that, I feel such great sadness and overwhelm, to be honest. Okay, so I can't talk about everything that's happening in this country, because it's like every hour something's changing, and it's taken up a significant amount of my time, as it should, because our democracy is being piece by piece taken apart by our current administration. And mind you, horribly. Like, not like, oh, it's horrible what's happening, which it is, but like they are doing a horrible job. And to like transition us out of a democracy, things should ride a little more smoothly. We should all feel a little more confident. Oh, good things are ahead. I don't think we're going in that direction. So, and that's for the best, right? Trump, whatever. We're not even going to get into that. Okay, so first I wanted to follow up about, I was talking last time, I talked a little bit about the textile industry in this country and what effect tariffs would have, and how we don't have a textile industry in this country, really. It's a very, very, very small. The New York Times did 2 articles since I put that out. One was about a sewist company in New York, where they were kind of discussing the impact of tariffs of buying fabric, because as I talked about in the last time, we do not make fabric in this. And by that, I mean the fabric that is woven together, knitted together, however it may be, and then sewn and then sold off as clothes, right? The fact that we are talking to a sewist company in New York is pretty amazing, but they're buying fabric from overseas because we don't make hair. So there is that article. There's also another article, which was really fascinating, about kind of how South Carolina used to be a hub of the textile industry in this country. It kind of talks about a bit about the history, what happened, why the textile industry left, and it talks to residents there who worked in the textile industry and who know the textile industry, having grown up there, and lots of them say, why would we want that back? Why? And also, what has come in its place? So I will put the link in the show notes to both of those if you are interested. Okay. Okay, so now let's talk about deportations, because like I said, I can't talk about everything that's going on. There are so many things that are crumbling around us. It's awful. Okay, my camera or my phone did something crazy and just started taking pictures of me, which is lovely. Okay, so deportations. Like I said, I cannot talk about everything going on, so I just kind of have to pick one big subject. Let's not get distracted from all the other things going on, including wars and injustice and dismantling. But for right now, let's talk about the constitutional crisis and these deportations. I wanted to start by saying illegal people in this country that are working, which is a majority of them, that are getting a pay stub, which is the majority of those working people, are paying taxes into this country. So not only are they working and helping this country, they are then paying taxes. If they got a little pay stub, there are taxes being taken out, and they are not filing their taxes because that could potentially put them at risk, right, of being found. So they are working, they are paying taxes into the system, they are not filing income taxes, they are not getting those taxes back. Are we clear on how that helps this country? Twofold. Okay, so these deportations, there's no due justice. This is where we come to the constitutional crisis. We can cut to the thick of it. Let's talk about Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia and what that looks like. So the New York Times Daily, they have a podcast. I think yesterday or Monday, they were talking about this subject. They kind of gave a bit of a history of how he ended up in this country. He fled, so he ended up here illegally because he was fleeing El Salvador because of gangs coming after his family for money to help protect them. So he fled the country for safety from the gangs, which, by the way, he has now been deported back into a gang prison there. So he was arrested for, I think in 2019, they said, for immigration issues, went before a judge, said, I am in danger if you send me back to El Salvador. The judge said, you are safe to stay here. He has a work permit. He has a family. He has kids. He is grounded in this country, contributing to this country. Okay, so gets deported. So apparently we're not like checking names. We're not running names through systems. We're doing nothing. We're just grabbing people saying, you look like this thing, this whatever we've decided, and we're putting you on a plane and you're leaving. So not only did he get deported, even though he was legally allowed to be here, legally allowed to be here, like you and me and so many of us, he was put on a plane and left, right? And sent away. And besides deporting the wrong person or a person they shouldn't have, there was no due justice. There was no due justice done to any of these people that are getting deported that have not been able to go in front of the courts and say, let me plead my case. Okay. And in this country, you do not have to be a citizen to have the right to do justice. It is for everybody in this country, just the same as if I was going to travel overseas, I got arrested for something, do justice before you throw me in jail forever, right? So this is kind of just the way that we work as humans, because these are humans that are being deported. So the problem is that all of these people are being, besides the obvious of the problem, there is no due justice happening, which breaks the law. And I don't know if y'all remember, and then to go back, then we have the president of El Salvador sitting in the White House giving the heebies next to Trump, giving the heebies and talking about how he can't bring these people back because it's smuggling. And Trump saying, well, there you go. Bondi saying, well, there you go. No. According to Trump, and I mean, we are the strongest country in the world, right? The strongest, the best, all these things. He is the strongest man in the world, I'm pretty sure. And yet you're telling me that we can't get this man back from El Salvador? Okay, we all know this is a crock. So let's go to checks and balances. A quick reminder, right? We all learn this starting in 4th grade and then 5th grade and then 8th grade and then high school over and over again. Legislative, executive, judicial. Executive branch, we're in trouble because they don't want to have democracy. This has been made clear time and time again over the past 100 and however many days that feels like a lifetime. The legislative branch, made up of the House and Senate, we're in trouble because these are the people that are elected that are supposed to be representing the people and that are supposed to be responsible for saying where the money goes, bringing bills forward, implementing money, keeping the president in check by the things that they are supposed to be doing. And you can tell by town hall meetings, they are not listening to what the people are saying. And if you watch them, which I'll admit is some of my pure joy, not because of what's happening, but because I love seeing citizens of this country show up and basically yell at these people and hold them accountable to why you're not listening to us. So we're in trouble. And a lot of these representatives in the House and the Senate are intimidated. Their state has been threatened with funding. Their jobs have been threatened. And we all know retaliation is a great thing. So, or from our White House, right? So we're in trouble there. So let's go to the judicial. This is the last third of the checks and balances. This is where we are like, come on, everybody, judges, let's do this. So it goes before the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court says, yeah, these judges' other opinions were right. We need to bring this person back, right? So herein lies the problem. We have a White House that now not only is sort of like ignoring, but is absolutely saying, you don't have the right to tell us what to do. Sorry, dog's barking at the mail lady probably. So the White House is saying you don't have the right. And I'm sorry, but the Supreme Court 100% has the ultimate authority over how laws are interpreted, read, and carried out. That's it. So if we lose that, we are in trouble, you all. We are in trouble. And this is how we land in a constitutional crisis. You have the judges and the Supreme Court saying one thing, and you have the administration saying, nah, no. So where we're at. This is why this maker will be going a marching on Saturday. And I realize not everybody can march. Lots of people have jobs. Lots of people have responsibilities. Lots of people have kids, can't get away. 100% understand it. But I will be there. April 19th. There is another, I believe May Day. I think it's May 1st. There is another big protest. There's going to be a lot of protests. You're not going to be able to make them to all. But if you can, if it's in your wheelhouse to do it, I say get out there. I was listening to a town hall meeting with Mark Kelly and Cory Booker, and Mark Kelly said political gravity is real, meaning us getting out there has an effect. Not only does it have an effect with all these elected representatives, even though it seems like they're not listening, trust me, getting yelled at in your town hall meeting, you got to go home and sit and think on that, even if you're not willing to be brave enough yet to stand up. But it also signifies to the entire world that the citizens of the United States are not going to stand up. I mean, you've seen other countries out there protesting and you have had your little heart flutter, right? This is what it says when we get out and we do it. And it's going to be different sizes and different volumes, and it doesn't matter. It's going to keep happening. So if you can, get out there. I will say that Cory Booker then followed up by saying they want you to feel powerless. With all of this chaos and with all of this, we're not letting these news people in. We're not going to answer these questions. We're going to tear all these structures down. We're going to get rid of public broadcasting. What? They're trying to make us feel powerless, and we are not powerless. We have a voice. We are still a democracy, and we have to stand up and protect it. So get out there and protest. Write the emails if you've got a computer. Make the phone calls. Speak up. Speak up in the comments here. Everything makes a difference because it gives the next person the confidence to continue and to speak up maybe for their first time. Okay, well, okay. That's it. That's how we're going to end this. Show up, speak out however you are able, and also hold yourself, give yourself some grace if you're not able to do it all the days, because it's a lot. It is a lot. And if you are in the area and you want to go, we are going to march in Eugene. If you want to join us, if you feel uncomfortable going alone, or you just like to be with a bigger group for the community, feel free to reach out to me via email, and I will find a way to get us hooked up before, either meeting outside of Eugene and driving in together. We can have multiple cars if needed, or meeting up somewhere in Eugene. We'll be there early. The protest starts in Eugene. It's noon to 3, I believe, at 8th and Oak is where it kind of is starting to congregate. So thank you all so much for listening. I hope you're still here. I really hope you're still here because I appreciate you all. And I'm going to cut out because I got to get this up on YouTube and I've got other work to do. I've got to go mill some wool and do all these things. So thank you so much for joining me, everybody. I appreciate you all. And until next time, stay healthy, be kind to your neighbor. Let's keep the discourse going in a nice, civil, and communicative way because we don't know what our neighbors are going through, right? And of course, make so many pretty things. Find that time at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day to sit down and to make something beautiful. Okay, I appreciate you all. Don't forget, you can subscribe. Please comment below. And I hope to see you somewhere in the community soon.